Welcome to the Human Reboot with me, Emma Last. We have uplifting, inspiring and diverse reboot stories from people sharing the courageous, honest, authentic and sometimes difficult life lessons. The Human Reboot will provide proven mentally flourishing formulas and practical tips to help you to live life to the full, giving you direction and hope. Make your mental fitness and well-being a daily priority. Learn to pause so that you can get clear and perform at your best. Switch off to switch on. It's time for your Human Reboot.
On the Human Reboot podcast today, I have Pete Cann, the Laughter Man. He's on a fun-filled mission to bring positive benefits of laughter to the world. Since discovering laughter yoga, company owner Pete has transformed his business and family life and now wants to share his infectious secrets and get the planet laughing along with him. Welcome, Pete.
How you doing, Emma? You all right?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us a little bit about this mission of yours.
So I'm on a mission to bring laughter to 1 million people. And it's because I discovered laughter yoga back in 2016 when I was at a festival called WOMAD in the southwest of the UK. And I like to laugh. I like to go to see comedy shows. You know, I like watching silly comedies on telly and stuff. But anyway, when I was at the festival, I was walking through the Arboretum and I heard laughter. And I thought there must be a comedian. Brilliant. I'm going to go and check out who's on stage. As I walked around the corner, there was 100 people just lying on the floor on their backs, laughing. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? And it was just really bizarre. I knew I was at a festival, so that was all good. And then there was a sign saying laughter yoga daily at 11:30. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a go at that. And so I went back and saw Chloe, my wife and the kids. And I said, look, I'm going to go do laughter yoga tomorrow. Do you want to come and join me? Chloe was like, no, you go and do it. Do what you've got to do, Pete. It's all good. So anyway, I went to this session and the lying down bit's the end of the session. So we were doing lots of different breathing and laughing exercises. And the fact that your body doesn't know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter was just something that really stuck with my mind. And also the other thing, we didn't need humor or jokes. It was just literally these just breathing, like exercises until all of a sudden, like within about, it must have been 5-6 minutes, I was laughing genuinely. And we've just it's good. Whatever, you know what it's all about because you've obviously done one of my sessions, but it's and she did this for about 25 minutes, lots of laughing exercises. And then the guy Steve got us all to lie down and I lay down and I just couldn't stop laughing. Everything was wiggling and jiggling. I was just laughing away. And then at the end of a laughter yoga session, a proper session, you have a meditation at the end. So after probably 5-10 minutes, it was a long time of laughing. Then Steve says, right, everybody just die down, let anything laughs out. Someone then suddenly just goes next to me, boom, I was off again. And then we did the meditation. And so Steve puts us into about a 5-minute grounded meditation. And I sat up afterwards and I felt really high, like really genuinely high on just, it was the endorphins I found out later, serotonin, dopamine, all this amazing chemicals in my brain. And I remember walking back, like as light as a feather, walking back and met Chloe and the kids in the children's field. And she looked at me and she's just like, what are you on? And I'm like, I'm not on anything. This is just laughter, like this big smile and just like eyes wide. And she's like, what? And I was like, literally, and I explained it to her. And it was the last day so it was the last day of the festival. But the following year, I went and did every single day. I did all 4 days of the laughter session, plus this little intimate TP session, because I was hooked. Like I waited a year to go and do it again, but I was hooked. And after doing 4 days of laughing every day, I felt amazing, Emma. I felt really energized. I felt really focused. I felt really creative. I just knew that I wanted to do more of this in my life. And yeah, I suppose fast forward now, like I'm the laughter man. This is what I do. I come into companies. I do Zoom sessions for laughter for teams. I connect them. I get them laughing together. And it's just a really, really great job.
Fabulous. So I asked you if you would come on here and tell us a little bit about how you've navigated challenge and change in your life and to share maybe one or two reboot stories with us. Please, would you just tell us a little bit about when you feel that you've had to reboot in your life?
Definitely. Okay, so I've got a couple. Okay, so the second one is COVID, but we'll come to that one in a minute. So the first one was back in 2017. Well, 2015, I created a chef app. So I run a chef agency as well in Bristol. And we created this app where we were placing chefs into companies, and companies would find chefs. And it was like a matchmaking app. And I spent 18 months of my life on it, and we borrowed about, I think it was 130 grand we borrowed to create this platform. And like I say, 18 months of my life. And basically what happened was, when it was getting near the end of it, sort of, because when I say the end of it, we borrowed the money and we were paying the money back with the money. So obviously at some point those two had to meet in the middle, or, ultimately had to get it to take off. Now it didn't take off. What I did was create this profile, this Pete Cann chef tree profile. I was going to these big events. I was getting loads of chefs to sign up, but just no one would spend any money on it. But the people we borrowed some money from, naively as business owners, we borrowed it on our business, our core business's name, and then started up another business with the money, which was completely against the terms and conditions. But we didn't know that. We completely naively done. So anyway, 4 days before Christmas in 2017, we got a letter from this company. I'm not going to mention their names, but they was like, right, we want all the money back, or we want to put a second charge on your house.
Yeah.
And it just felt like just someone had just ripped my stomach out, basically, because it was just like I'd spent, I'll be honest, it was our fault. We made the mistake. We didn't realize we did it, but it was the way it was. 4 days before Christmas, I remember being at this family farm barn place, right, with the kids are over there playing over there. Chloe's next to me. I'm on the phone to this guy just going, what are you, because I was trying to object it, and he's just like, it's 4 days before Christmas, like, you want a second charge on our house? You want all the money back? We haven't got the money. The money's gone. We spent it, blah, 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 blah. And I just went into a really dark place, like, for probably, it was a good couple of months where I felt that I'd let down my family. Well, no, let down's not the right word. I'd created this issue, basically. I jeopardized our family life because of the money situation. I felt also, I think, because I put so much energy into this, 18 months of my life, like, properly at it, just to build this thing, for then that to be ripped away. Yeah, it was just really, really tough time. And it was, I remember vividly, in February half term, we went away, and we were in sand dunes next to the beach. And I just remember every morning, because I do a morning routine, and I really dived into my morning routine then, which was sort of a miracle morning. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but okay. So I was doing that, which I still practice, but I started doing some laughter yoga as well, because I remember the laughter and how it made me feel at the time. And so I started watching these videos, and I remember being in the dunes watching the founder, Madan Kataria's videos. And it was just a mobile phone, like this giggle phone. I was put it to your ear, just laughing. I was just looking on my own, completely, like, just going, and I really used laughter, like that holiday, to switch my mind around, because it was, there was a dark spot where I was just, what am I doing? Why have I done this? I've risked everything. And I mean, if you roll back to sort of when I was teenage years, I used to be a gambler. Like, I went to GA, I went to Gamblers Anonymous to stop that habit. And it felt, I suppose, that what I'd done was gambled something. But actually, if I look back at it, everything makes you into the person you are. I believe you've got to take risks. If you don't take risks and step over and go out your comfort zone, you're never going to achieve anything. You're just going to be stuck in again, this is not for everybody, but for me, you just get caught in that grind, and that's not me. I want to step out of my comfort zone, and taking that gamble. Yeah. I felt at that point I'd gambled this 130 grand. They wanted a second charge on the house. And, we went into lawyers, and we managed to fight it. It cost 8 grand to fight, just to make it all go quiet. Yeah. And we've paid it all off, and it's all gone now. But at that point, it was, really quite tough.
It's like, you were thinking, like, what are my options here? What's my way out?
Yeah. One of them was like, do I just finish it all, and I've never thought like that. And I've not thought like that since. It was just this one time.
Yeah.
And I'm very I suppose, grateful that I don't actually suffer personally really from sort of stress, anxiety. And I know what it's like, because Chloe, my wife, she does get quite anxious about things, and I'm just like, why are you anxious about something? You can't, and I don't quite understand that. But then I suppose laughter's helped me, maybe. Well, it has helped me, because it helps me deal with like overwhelm. If I feel like I've got a lot on, I just sort of laugh, not because it's funny, but just because it clears my brain.
So around that time when that happened and you were feeling, quite low and lost, did you do anything to reach out for help, or was that not a consideration?
I think I didn't reach out to like any professionals as such, but I'm very much problem shared. I talk, I'm really open, heart sleeve. That's me, So I had a business network around me. I had like a mastermind of other business owners, so they knew what I was going through. So I was talking to them quite openly about it. I had a business coach, business mentor, who was really good at that point as well, really sort of stepped up and helped us see that actually this is okay. We can work this out. We can move through this. Yeah, and that was the help I needed, really, was just people to be able to listen, people to sort of take my side a little bit and just go, Pete, you messed up a bit because you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, yeah, we know, but how are we going to do it right? Well, we're just going to have to get the lawyers involved and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I didn't talk to Chloe about it properly, like sort of the way I felt. And what's been quite interesting sort of recently, this story's coming out more and more now. And Chloe sort of I've told her about it as well. And she's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That didn't happen. I was like, well, it did, but you didn't know about it because I didn't share it at the time. It wasn't something that, we were both in a low place. We knew that we were in this moment of just like, what have we done? And felt really pressurized. But I just think, reaching out and talking to someone really, really does help.
Yeah. And so that day on the sand dunes, when you started, putting into practice your laughter yoga, did you just continue with that? Or was there anything else that kind of any other tools that were in your kit bag that helped you to kind of pull yourself through it?
Did I carry on with the laughter? Not as much. I was definitely affirmating, visualizing. I was journaling, just the whole savers and exercising, just moving my body, reading, just positive. I have been really positive. And actually I had a channel on YouTube called You Can, because my surname's Cann. So it's like, and it was the sign out was like, Pete Cann, you can. And it's very much just the fact that I was doing these live videos where it was just like coming back from the gym, just going, look, I feel really good today. I didn't want to go to the gym, but actually I did. I went to the gym, and you know what? If Pete can, you can. And it was just trying to, but it was good. It was just like, that was really helping me, because what I was doing was self-affirmating to camera and getting love back, because people were just like, I really like this. It's made me feel good, and like hearts and blah, blah, blah. And obviously that's that whole social media stroking and all that stuff, isn't it? But yeah, so affirmations definitely. And I still believe that I'm going to achieve exactly what I want to achieve in the future. I know I will. It's just a case of like when that day's going to happen. And so it's, yeah, I've not always been like this, but certainly around that time I knew that affirmations were a big part of my life, definitely.
And that's really interesting as well, because I talk a lot about, affirming things, but I talk a lot about getting what is in your head out.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be through journaling, like you said, or it could be through talking, it could be through video diaries, it could be through a diary. So in essence, you were getting out what was going on in your head in some ways, but in a positive way, which is great, because it helps us to kind of rationalize those thoughts when we say things, outside our heads. And also when you start talking about things in a positive way, you're training your brain.
Mm-hmm. And it is easy to train your brain. It is easy. I mean, it's weird at first, and I say the same about my laughter practice. It's weird at first. It is. It's crazy. What, I'm just going to laugh and be like childlike for, you want me to what? Do what? You want me to put something to my ear, pretend it's a phone, and start laughing like this? Well, no, I don't really want to do that. But actually,
I'm so sorry. I can't do it. You can't even start now.
But the point is that, when with laughter yoga, and it still blows my mind. It just like, and I chat to Chloe, bless her, a lot of times about it, just because she understands what it does for me, but it's not for her. And I'm just like, yeah, but but you're anxious. You get anxious. This will stop you being anxious. Like, why do you want it? Yeah, but it's just not for me. I don't want to laugh for no reason. I don't get it, Pete. I don't want to laugh for no reason. I'm just like, wow, okay. But then
it's appropriate me laughing at that, but I just can't stop it. It just makes
exactly. But then, I'm quite sneaky because I will, we'll have a little cuddle, like just a little, like, it's all right. And then like I just go just a little bit like that. And then if someone's laughing, especially when you're touching, like body touch it, like you jiggling, and then that sets you off, and then next thing you know, she's laughing, and then I'll step away and I was like, oh, sorry about that. Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I feel really good. I was like, I told you it works. It's magic. It's magic. So yeah.
So tell me about this second reboot then.
So the second reboot, okay. Thanks for listening, by the way. It was COVID. COVID came along. I don't know if you've heard of COVID. It's this thing that happens. It's still happening, I believe.
Some sort of virus, I've heard.
Yeah. So, like I've obviously mentioned already, chefs. So we've had a business since 2009. And we were doing well. We were doing really well. We had a team in the office. We didn't work Fridays. We were having 7-8 weeks off a year. We're just enjoying, we built this business from nothing to this, just doing all right. Thank you very much. Loving life. And then in March in 2020, someone decided to shut all the pubs, restaurants, hotels, everybody that used a chef. And we saw it coming. And it was interesting actually, because our coach at the time was quite like, oh no, it's going to be fine. It's fine. It's just going to blow over. And like, we saw it coming. We were like all over Italy at the time, just going, this is going to really mess our business up. Literally overnight, our revenue just went. And I mean, touch wood, we still supplied care homes. Now was really useful for some reasons at the point, because there was a bit of income. But on the flip side, the care homes were getting smashed at the beginning of the whole pandemic. Yeah. And our phone calls, we were talking to these care home managers as like, we've just lost another 2 residents, we've lost another 4 residents, we've lost this, and it was just like, it was craziness. So then what was happening was, first of all, revenue disappeared. Second of all, you're talking to care homes that are just really up against it, and you're just like, wow. And then you got other people just going, oh, it's just a load of nonsense. And it's just like, no, there's people actually dying in, like, there's a home that's lost half their residents literally in a week. Yeah. And then you've got chefs who are calling us. Then we got a bank of 40 guys that just literally didn't have any work all of a sudden. So they're also, their livelihoods had disappeared. So then they're calling us, offloading all of their emotional baggage because they had to. And like, so then you've got that as well. And it was just really, just a really shit time actually for the first couple of weeks. I remember a couple of times we were just crying, literally crying. It was our first baby, just gone, taken from us. It's like and that like, when you've got your own business and you've built it for like over 11, 12 years, it does feel like a child, because you've nurtured, you've blood and sweat and everything. And all of a sudden we couldn't do anything about it because everything was happening without us doing it. And there was a couple of times where I would just grab these cushions. I remember me and Chloe, like, just get the cushion in your face and just scream as loud as you can in the cushion, just to get that anger out. That because we were so angry with the situation that we couldn't, again, being business owners, you can plan for things. If business isn't going very well, that's your own fault, because you're not selling or you're not marketing well enough. You've got to do stuff. But then I was laughing. But pre that, for probably about 7 months before the March, I was laughing every day with a group of people for 10 minutes. And it was my secret weapon. Yeah. Like, no one knew about my secret weapon. Okay, so and it was and like, because I was laughing at 8 o'clock every morning for 10 minutes, and then I would get off the call and I'd just bang, I'd be writing great marketing material. I was creating scripts for videos. I was just doing all this back of house, like, just amazingness. The business was moving. My head was in a really good place. And luckily for me, I had that, because once COVID kicked, I was still laughing. And then we joined forces, the people that we were laughing, and then we started laughing 4 times a day. We opened the doors to people, come and laugh with us. Not because it's funny. It's not because it's funny. It's because of how it makes us feel when we laugh. That's what the bit we need to get over ourselves and go, I'm laughing because it releases endorphins, it releases serotonin, it makes us feel, strengthens our immune system. There's so many positives about laughing. And then probably about 3 weeks into that, I just approached somebody and said, look, can I do a session with your team? Because she was in the event industry. And I said, look, you've been smashed. You've got a team of 15. Let me just come along to your team meeting and do this thing. And I did it. And then someone saw it. And then he rang me up and said, like, I'd like to book you. How much is it? I'm like, oh, okay. And then so plucked a figure. And that was the start. And then now, this week, I've done a gig for Liverpool Football Club, not for the players, but I did for the, so I've done stuff for the co-op, NHS, government, so I suppose the reboot there with laughter was my reboot.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, just letting people know that it actually, and because it's not funny, there's days where I don't want to laugh, but after 5 minutes of laughing, I'm loving laughing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me. It might not to our listeners, but no, it does. It absolutely does. And I think the first time was quite interesting. The first time I was kind of like shoved in your direction, wasn't I, by one of my friends. She's like, yeah, here, go on. I've been on this 15-minute laughter show thing. Go on, you go and do it with Pete. And I was just like, oh, you're joking me. Will you do it? I was like, well, yeah, anything for you. Yeah, I will. Yeah, go. So off I did, came on. And then I was like, the kids were still upstairs in bed. And this was in the middle of, we were locked down somewhere. And I was thinking, I don't want to wake the kids up. So, but also I was really conscious about actually how I was laughing. And what's really interesting is in one of my groups since, as we've talked about this, we used a video recording to show them. And we just did some laughter yoga together. Well, by the time I've been doing it a few more times, you get more comfortable with it. You don't feel as stupid. And actually, I kind of got round to the point where I just didn't care anymore. So that whole feeling of feeling stupid had kind of gone from me, and my group were like, what's happening to her now? But literally, we just laughed our socks off. And, I talk about, the 5 ways to well-being, there's loads of research done on it on adults, and then research was done on it with children. And what they found was one of those ways to well-being, like kids didn't necessarily get the same reward as we did as adults by giving to others. So they did further kind of probing and everything on it, and found that it was imagination, creativity and play. It's the things that light us up. It's the fun we have. It's the joy, isn't it? And actually, sometimes as adults, we become so conditioned to behave in a certain way and get weighted down sometimes by all the expectations of life and juggling the world and all the rest of it, that just sometimes we just need to have a bit of fun.
Exactly. Just be childlike. Give yourself permission to be childlike. And it's funny because when I do my sessions now, and I don't do it very often, but it's a little one-liner I sometimes throw in, and I'm just like laughing. I go, I'm 45. Just like, because actually I'm 45, but I was going to say I don't feel 20, 30, because actually I don't. I feel like a child, and in a good way. Because I feel like I look at things differently. I look at, especially after I've laughed, I'm in awe of things, things that are quite maybe mundane, and maybe think like I don't know, everything's just really lovely and fluffy and nice. And why would you not want to live this way? And that's the bit I keep banging, and I'm on this drum over him. I'm just banging it, and I know that there's people that are watching, and there's people from afar that are aware of what I'm doing, which is really, really good. And it still surprises me that laughter yoga as a thing is 26 years old. It's only just coming, and obviously I'm part of the reason it's getting on more and more people's radars, because I've put my marketing hat on.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Marketer. But actually putting the marketing hat onto the business hat, onto the passionate hat, it's just in flow state. I love it. I love actually, and I just think I would encourage anybody, just listening right now, I think we should just do like this one really simple exercise that you can do just to feel like, so you're listening at the moment, you're still listening, so you're intrigued, I would say. So just be conscious of how you feel right now, and what I want you to do, I just want you to take a deep breath in and just let out a long just a deep sigh. Okay, so that should have relaxed you a little bit on the shoulders. Right now, I want you to take a deep breath in. I want you to hold it for 5 seconds. And we're just going to just laugh for 10 seconds. And when I say laugh, just pretend it's the funniest thing you've heard all day. So we take a deep breath in. We hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And
I've got silent laugh sometimes.
And now breathe in and breathe out. And just think, well, I'm just to the listeners, but Emma, what's the difference between where you were and where you are now?
Just really just relax. And it's a nice feeling. It's like when you do some deep breathing or meditation. And for some people, that feels too weird for them. And actually, for some people, just breathing in and, having a laugh could be their thing, and it's like you said before, it's not your wife's thing, or she says it's not until you persuade her. And actually, so when I first breathe in and I start doing those ha, 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 I don't necessarily find that funny. It's more the more when you keep doing it, and then when you start doing like the belly laughs and the things like that, you just can't control, and it does become natural, and it does feel forced to begin with. So anyway, we'll carry on. So just out of curiosity, is your first business baby? Have you managed to weather the storm? Are you coming out the other end now?
Yeah. So basically, we've lost the office. So the office has moved on, and we had 3 people in the office. So 2 of them went and got other jobs, which we encouraged them to do. They were on furlough, but we're like, look, you need to look, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And just for their mental health as well, like just sat on furlough all the time, you just not knowing, when's the furlough going to end, what's going to happen. And then the third member, she's moved back to Ireland, but she's still working for us remotely. So, and now things have opened up, and it's crazy out there now. There's definitely a massive demand for chefs. We're turning business away that we can't do, which again, then it's the other side of the coin. It's just like, we shut everything off. We went from 150 bookings a week. That's roughly where we were at. Then we went to like 10 to 15 bookings a week. And now we're spiking back up to 60, and we haven't got the chefs to do it. So to get to 150 feels like quite a long way away for us to get to that point again. We'll get there, because it's just like building blocks, like any business. You've just got to just do each stage at a time. But yeah, it has been a bit feast or famine, really. And I just touch wood, everything just stays as it is. And we just keep on this roadmap, which would be really good. And the chefs start coming back, because a lot of them have gone to work. Well, a lot have gone home back to Europe. There's also a lot that have got working, for maybe Amazon or whoever. They've got a different job, and they've gone, well, actually, wait there, I get weekends and evenings off, and I'm not under all this stress and pressure of working in a kitchen anymore. So yeah, hospitality is going to be a tough ride, I think, for a good year or so still.
It's interesting, because for 19 years, my background was HR services. So there's always that chicken and egg in recruitment. It's always like, well, the demand in the market, and we haven't got enough specialist candidates. And then here are the candidates, and there's not the demand in the market. So that balance is always, it's like when you master it and you're on a growth trajectory, and sometimes it does take time, but it's
I look at it as a seesaw as well. It's sort of like you get that demand, and then you can get a few people, and then hopefully you get a little bit, and then your business just slowly moves up as it goes. So, I mean, we've gone from there, we're sort of midway. So, we've got to double what we're doing, but we're going to have to get someone else on board in the office, which we're recruiting for at the moment. So it's just building blocks, but actually working remotely has made a big... We've worked remotely, and a lot of businesses haven't they? So they've adjusted and gone, actually, I didn't need that massive office space with 3 or 4 people. We had a table tennis table in there. We used to play table tennis every single day. We had fun in the office. It was, one of our values, which we can't do now, unfortunately, because, we're obviously not in there, but we can work from wherever. Like I said, she's moved back to Ireland. So she's, after living in the UK for 20 years, she's moved back. She's been with us for 12 years in the business. So it's great, because she's happy, she's around her family, and she's got her friends from, she's building that network again, but we've still got her working with us, which is really, really good. So we'll get there. It'll be fine.
And you can pull that team back together with your laughter yoga, I'm sure.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing as well. I said to Chloe probably about 2 months ago when I could feel that we would get busy again. I just said, I can't be the managing director as much as I was. I can help from afar, but I'm over here. I mean, during lockdown, I was doing 70, 80-hour weeks over here. I wasn't making a whole pile of money, but I was definitely getting my structure and getting myself out there and doing all the hard work. And now, the business is coming in, which it just shows if you put the work in and you believe in it, it will turn up. So now we've got 2 businesses.
Now I've got to pick up on that though, because you've just told me you've been doing 70 to 80 hours a week.
Not anymore.
Good. Okay, that's good. So that leads me beautifully into how do you switch off to switch on? So how do you switch off so that you can switch back on and perform at your best?
Okay, so my biggest tip that I've discovered over the years is holiday. Okay, so I work hard. I do work hard when I'm in the moment. And like I said it previously, before the agency got a kick in, we were taking 7-8 weeks off a year. So that's a lot of holiday time. So what we were doing, we were working in sprints. So we'd know that we've got a week off wherever, like we've got a caravan. So we just hook up and we just go wherever and just sit in a field. That's how I reboot. That's how I recharge. As soon as we put everything in the car, just getting the stuff out the house and that little straight, right, everything, boom, boom, boom. As soon as I put the sat nav, we press the button for where the caravan's stored, which we call family good times. That's what it's called. Click on that. And then boom, and then hook up. And then, all right, it might be a 4 or 5 hour drive wherever we're going. And as soon as it takes me about half an hour to get the van set up, legs down, electric on, blah, blah, blah. And then I just sit there and that's what I do. I sit there for a week and I do move around a little bit as well, but it's just like the kids are there. I'm more in with the kids. We play games, we get in the sea together. It's just nice. And that's how I recharge. And then when I come back to the office or back to work, it takes me 3 or 4 days to start the groove again. And then that's it. I'm in the groove, but I know that I know I'm on holiday the week after next. So I know I've got a lot of stuff to get done to give me permission to have that holiday. It's happening, but it's like anything, isn't it? You work to a deadline and you get it done, especially if that deadline's a holiday. There's a lot of stuff you've got to tie up before you can step out of the door. So
yeah, good. And any favourite places you've been on your caravanning trips?
I would say Cornwall, because we're looking to move to Cornwall at the end of the year. That's the plan. So yeah, I mean, anywhere near the coast is lovely. I love getting in the sea, love getting in the waves.
Fab. And you also like a bit of running, don't you?
I do like, is that the right word? Is that the right word? Well, I do run. I never used to be a runner. And then Chloe, again, she signed up for the London Marathon. That was the first race she ever did. And second time she did it, I saw a big guy running and I was like, I'm going to do this. Everything that was going on in the day, I was just like, this is really, really cool. And so I signed up. So I'm doing the marathon. I was supposed to do it last year and I was sort of really ready for it and then just let everything slide for a little while. And now I'm back on, like, it's happening in October, which is not very far away, really. In 4 months' time, I'm running 26 miles. So, yeah.
Very good. And if you could give some tips or some how-tos to our listeners on your personal flourishing formula for life, whether that be mental fitness tips, whether that be some sort of mantra or, anything that you live by or any key learns that you've learned along your way, what would they be?
I would say visualize, get your vision boards. What do you really want? What do you truly desire in life? And just get it out your mind, get it on paper. If you can get some pictures, even better. I worked to vision boards, have done for quite a few years. It just means that you're always looking at it, even if it's subconsciously. And just believe, just knowing. So if you know what that top vision is, then you can break it down into goals and just chip away at each goal.
Fabulous. Anything else?
I've got a laugh.
You've got to laugh. Yeah, funnily enough, you got to laugh.
Yeah. So what should we do? I'll tell you what we could do. This one's a really fun one as well, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a deep breath in and then we're just going to do a he, like a balloon going down. And then at the end, this is going to work our zygomatic muscles, which are these cheek muscles, okay? These are our laughter muscles. So we're going to go he, and as we get to the end, we're just going to go he, and just keep a real high-pitched laugh for a few seconds, all right? So deep breath in. And he.
Yeah, I promise I'm not snorting. Yeah. Anyway, any book or anything that have helped you, communities, anyone that's inspired you, podcasts, books, anything that has helped you along your way?
So Miracle Morning, definitely. You've got to read that. Even if you're not a morning person, it's game changing. So that's really helped. I was part of a community called the Entrepreneur Circle, which really, really helped with our business as well, and made lots of really good friends, business friends. Hang out in networks of people that inspire you, bring the best out in you, and challenge you. That's what I would say.
And I would agree with that. So thank you so much for giving me your time today. Shall we leave with just one laugh then?
Oh, that was about 5. That was. There we go. One laugh. Ha.
Ha. If you would like to get in contact with Pete, you can find him at www.petecann.com. You can find him on LinkedIn as The Laughter Man, on Instagram as Pete Cann, The Laughter Man, and on Facebook as The Laughter Man. So if you want more detail, you can find the links in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Human Reboot podcast. I'm Emma Last, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave me a 5-star podcast review and visit thehumanrebootmovement.com, where you can find downloadable free resources, sign up to my mailing list, or connect with me on social. So that's thehumanrebootmovement.com. Let's switch off so we can switch on. It's time for your human reboot.